Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
Welcome to the Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Today, our guest is Aniket. Aniket, how are you doing today?
Hey, doing great, Qasim. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So, Aniket, let us know where you live and what you do.
Hey, Qasim, I'm CEO and co-founder here at Envive AI. We build AI that helps brands and retailers prepare for an agentic future. Excited to talk more about what that means and get more into our technology.
Awesome. Aniket, as a founder, you may have a lot of responsibilities. And every founder, like this is a normal thing, like that every founder may have a lot of responsibilities, wearing a lot of hats. So in your case, how many hats you are wearing and what are your core responsibilities?
What a great question. I think one of my favorite things about entrepreneurship is that every quarter you have to reinvent yourself with a new set of hats to wear. So the hats that I'm wearing today are, I am the chief evangelist of Envive. I'm no longer the head of sales, but I am the chief marketing officer. No longer chief engineer. I have some amazing co-founders, but I'm sort of more involved in scaling the engineering team. So you can think of the VP engineering. I continue to be head of customer success. And so there's just a few of the hats that I'm wearing, along with being the person who's engaging our shareholders and partners and helping them understand the future that we're building.
Well, that's awesome. And in fact, this is the beauty of being a founder, where you are everything. And at least you have to keep an eye on everything. Awesome. So you are working in AI. And AI is a buzzword nowadays. So like everybody is talking about AI, but I'm not sure if a lot of people are adapting it in the right way or not. Basically, this is a tool. At the end, this is a tool and people do not know how to use it more effectively. So in this case, whenever you have some product in AI or any work that you are doing in AI, I believe there must be some sort of educational side as well, where you are educating people, okay, this is something, but this is how to use it effectively. In fact, not just to use it, but effectively. Are you working in this area as well, where you are educating people about what you are doing?
100%. You could say that that's a hat that I missed when you asked me about the hats, is being the chief educator AI, right? And that's a key responsibility that I have to play, is helping people understand. Like, I don't really focus on our product as much as I focused from first principles about like the technology and how it works. How do foundation models work? What are the different ways to get value out of generative AI in your business? And explaining how, what I found is that when you explain to someone how the technology works, and then they know their business really well, then they can come to like, oh, that next level understanding of like, I can now have the right set of decision-making principles to better understand the tools that make sense for my business versus just, what we see commonly is people just want to experiment with random things. Half the projects don't work and then people are unhappy. And so education is such an important foundation to help people make better decisions of using AI for their business. And of course, for our own sales process.
That completely makes sense. Awesome. So Aniket, in your case, I'm not sure how you are utilizing the technology, the marketing. In marketing can have a lot of aspects and a lot of directions as well. Everybody knows. But you are a tech person. So I believe you must be utilizing and must be getting advantages from the digital marketing. But are you getting help from anything else as well? Like, are you getting help from the offline marketing, word of mouth, sort of like these things? And yeah, let us know how you are doing your marketing.
Yeah, so that's a great question, Qasim. So our go-to-market is very trust-based because what we're doing with our technology is taking the most sacred relationship that retailers and brands have, which is the relationship they have with their end users. They're spending millions of dollars to acquire users from Meta, from Google, from other channels. And these are very expensive relationships. And what we're doing is we're putting our AI in between that and saying like, hey, our AI will help you grow your business and grow your revenue with what we do. And in order for people to trust that, that's the primary challenge. You have to do a lot of trust-based go-to-market. So our marketing strategies that are very effective are having events, bringing our most successful customers to these events, using digital marketing strategies involving case studies that really showcase that like, hey, our AI, there's a lot of people talking about AI. Our solution is really unique because it actually works and it doesn't have any risk. And the way to do that with digital marketing and other marketing is to lead with trust and establish that upfront with the key decision makers at our customers' companies.
Makes sense. So just from understanding, can you elaborate more, like who are your ideal customers?
Yeah, our ideal customers are the decision makers. So the VPs or chief digital officers, the people that own the P&L, the profit and loss at large e-commerce enterprise companies and retailers. So for example, some of the customers that are existing customers include 9-figure revenue brands like Coterie, Spanx, Supergoop, we have a number of others. And these are folks that own the revenue metric in the organization. And so, they might be in a growth role, they might be in a product role, they might be in a chief digital officer type of role. Those are the folks that we partner with.
This completely makes sense. But as you said, like there is no risk involved in it. So on what parameters, on what reasons you are saying there is no risk involved in it? Because this is one of the most highest word thing. Like people, whenever someone is investing somewhere, this is the very first thing that they are looking for. If this thing does have any risk, is there any risk exposure and mitigation plans or not? So you are saying like in your case there are zero risk of how?
Yeah, Qasim, that is the special sauce here. So let me first outline the 3 vectors of risk that people evaluate AI with. And these apply not only to commerce, and retail, the industry that we're in, but across anyone who's trying to get value out of AI. Like the 3 vectors of risk are performance. Like, does this actually increase some sort of revenue stream in a meaningful way? Then there's control, which is like every business is unique. And can I control the AI with the specific business context I have so it performs to specific guidelines? So for example, some of our customers have very specific guidelines they need to adhere to based off the FTC or other government agencies. And the AI does not adhere to those guidelines and it's not controllable, then they could get sued, or there could be some downside risk. And the third risk is safety. They want to make sure that the AI will not hallucinate or have any other downside risk when it comes to the end user that they're deploying the AI to. And so these 3 vectors apply for anyone evaluating AI. Is like you want to have performance, you want to have control, and you want to have safety. And so we do this by training custom LLMs. The way we achieve these promises is by training custom LLMs, which we control. Because we're training the LLMs, we can control the performance, control, and safety, and pass those controls and safety layers on to our customers.
But in this case, when you are training the LLMs, how you ensure that your LLM is trained well and on the required lines, because there's a possibility that you are not covering the whole aspects. Your knowledge base does not include every aspect, because there's a possibility that there's a human error. There's a possibility that I am not, let's say if I am your client, I'm not giving you the complete knowledge base, and maybe I'm even not thinking about those edge cases. So how you make sure that the training of the LLM is going well and is correct?
What a great question. So the way that we do that here at Envive is based off of 3 steps. One is intake. So we have a comprehensive intake process. And because we're currently focused on retail and e-commerce, we have connectors built to things like Shopify, your customer service platform, your reviews platform to ingest that data. So it's comprehensive to your business. And then there might be certain data sets that need to be manually ingested. Like a lot of brands have brand voice guidelines, which are just PDFs that they sent us. And we put that into our process. Then we have a whole simulation process that allows us to pressure test that as we train a model, like we're really testing the different edge cases where the AI could go off the rails or have some particular issues. And the third step is evaluation against that. So we're constantly monitoring, hey, in this situation, did the AI do something that was errant or was undesirable? If so, we can proactively identify that and then train that behavior out going forwards. So with that 3-step process, it allows us to keep these commitments at scale, given, like you said, there's different complexity for different business.
Makes sense. So when we are talking about the growth, so how you're thinking about the growth, like whenever you are deploying your solution, whenever you are providing your solution, in fact, at that time, what is the main thing that you focus on? Is this the revenue growth in revenue? Is this the growth in the team, or maybe brand awareness? Like how you measure the growth?
Yeah, you mean growth for Envive, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, we like to look at growth based off of happy customers and revenue growth as well. I believe that, and maybe I think that you talked about this with some of your other guests, that like with AI, we're seeing more and more companies that are achieving outsized revenue goals with very small teams. And so I like to focus less on headcount and much more on, do we have really, really happy customers? And are we also seeing that from a revenue perspective in an efficient way, especially growing through referrals and word of mouth over paid mechanisms?
Well, that makes sense. So, Aniket, can you please let us know about one experience or like one challenge that you have ever faced? Because I'm sure you must have faced a lot of challenges, but you can share one challenge with us.
Yeah, for sure. I'll make it very strategically important. My last role, generative AI at Walmart, and I got to learn a lot about what it takes to make this technology work at massive scale. Walmart has 70% of Americans shopped at Walmart in the last 2 weeks. And I had the privilege of building AI systems that serve people at that scale and really understanding what drives, what works and in ways that works for consumers and the business and is profitable for the business. And so when I first started Envive with my co-founders, Samir, Matt, and Iz, our initial focus was retail, but we thought that it would be very difficult to do what we're doing now and that we would need to build co-pilots for sales folks. Our first customers had thousands of salespeople, and we were building AI co-pilots, kind of like GitHub Copilot, but for salespeople to help them with their workflows. What was wild is that our product worked. Because we were training individual models for each salesperson, it was kind of like having your own AI helper. Unlike ChatGPT, I'm sure that you and I both use ChatGPT in our personal lives. It doesn't exactly talk like us. It doesn't really know our context. Because these models were tuned to each person, they had all of their speech cadence. It mimicked them very specifically. And what we thought was that people would value that. And some of the best salespeople did, but we found that at least 50% of salespeople really freaked out by it and didn't want to use it because it felt like a little too strange. It's really interesting because developers will definitely use AI tools for coding, but salespeople found it to be a little bit too creepy, to be honest. So we pivoted the company from that direction to a fully agentic approach. So instead of building for salespeople, we built directly for the end user and build a fully AI-driven sales agent. And that has been an absolute game changer for our customers because it allows them to get that same performance without the human in the loop. But that was a big challenge, was to pivot the company to look at something, see a product that works in a market, but then realize this is not the right solution, and then take a step back and do something that we didn't think would work.
Makes sense. So, Aniket, a little bit different question. How do you envision about the e-commerce industry in case of using these bots? Because I believe this is one of the industry where support is involved a lot. So if agents and these bots are going to take over for the support side of this industry, how do you envision, will it be a game changer or not?
Yeah, question. So it's a great question. Just to make sure that I'm tracking on it, the question here is hey, how do we see the future? Is it how the future of e-commerce is evolving? Will it be fully agentic or was it something different?
Yes. Will it be fully agentic or not?
Yeah, that's a great question, right? What we are seeing is, just to lay out some data points, just for a frame and answer here, OpenAI ChatGPT utilization in the 3 months of February through May of this year went from 400 million to 800 million weekly active users, which is absolutely insane. So they doubled ChatGPT utilization over the past 12 months. In the last 3 months. And so that is exponential growth. So what we're seeing is that consumer behavior is fundamentally shifting towards AI. And in order for brands and retailers to stay relevant in this agentic future, what's going to be really important is that they themselves become agentic. And so that is the core thesis of our company. Is how do we help people adapt to an agentic future in a world where consumer behavior is shifting in such a profound way? And so that's the core thesis of this company. And that's why what we believe is if you look at the internet and then you look at mobile, every 10 years, there's a technology breakthrough that changes consumer behavior in a fundamental way. With the internet, you have Shopify is this category. It's still the biggest company for retail, where the companies that adapted to e-commerce were the ones that really began to thrive. Some of our customers today are 80% D2C. Then mobile, 80% of our customers' traffic today is mobile web. And so the companies that adapted to this new reality were the ones that thrived. So we know that the future is agentic because consumer behavior is shifting that way, given the exponential growth of GPT utilization. The question is, how will retailers stay relevant in this future? And what does it mean to be agentic? And what we're building is a full set of tools for them to step into this future and expand and grow their market share.
Makes sense. Awesome. So, Aniket, at the end, can you let us know about your goals? Because every company set their goals, short-term and long-term goals. So let's say if we talk about the short-term goals, what you're thinking about in next 4 to 6 months.
Is it 4 to 6 weeks or months?
Months.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so by the end of this year, which is sort of the time frame that you're talking through, our goal is to prove out I'll take a step back to answer this question, and then I'll take a step forward, right? Taking a step back, 6 months ago, we were a seed stage company, and we were really focusing on proving out the product market fit of our product. And by the end of this, and that's what we did. We proved that there's a big market demand for what we're doing. And so by the end of this year, what we want to prove is that we have a fully scalable business. So we have a lot of customers that want to work with us. And what we want to do is make sure that they have a really great experience end to end as we're deploying this really bleeding edge technology for them, and that we can bring the biggest customers, the biggest retailers on board in ways that allow them to fully actualize the value of the product. So scaling the company to that next set of milestones. So those are our goals. It's scale is the word of the day here at Envive, and then also innovating on some of the core reinforcement learning. RL has a lot of there's a lot of buzzwords, but what DeepSeek did earlier this year with RL. We're doing some really interesting things with RL, and we want to prove that out with some case studies by the end of this year as well.
Makes sense. Well, innovation is one of the most important ingredient for you because in the field of IT and the things are changing and evolving for sure. Awesome. Well, Ankit, at the end, can you please give us the biggest piece of advice for our audience? Our viewers are mostly entrepreneurs and the ones who are dreaming to be their own boss.
Man, what a great question. Yeah. So the best advice that I can give for someone who wants to found something or be their own boss is to realize that, as it says to my team, is like the market is your boss in the end of the day. And what that means, and I've always had a great relationship with every boss I've ever had, and that includes the market. And that to me means that like you gotta, as a founder, you gotta be out there and be understanding like what are the problems to solve in the market. And what I will say is that like that was the most important thing for me was just being out where the market is, being out there talking to customers, really seeing what the most important problems to solve are, because what I thought were the problems to solve weren't the actual problems that were most important until I went out there and really talked to people and understood what their pain points are.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome, Aniket. Thanks for the beautiful advice. So please let our viewers know how they can reach you. You can share your website or the social media handles, whatever you want to share.
Yeah. I'm on LinkedIn, Envive.ai, and you can reach me anytime at Aniket@Envive.ai. Would love to chat with folks who are interested in our mission. We're growing very quickly, and we're excited to collaborate with folks who want to be part of the future we're building here for commerce.
Awesome. Well, and again, thanks for joining us today. It was really insightful for me, and I learned a lot out of this conversation. And hopefully, we will stay in touch.
Would absolutely love to. Qasim, thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us. Have a good day. Bye bye.